everyone. Today I'm going to talk about two groups that I worked with. One is a more successful group, which is my working group, and one is a little bit more on the lines of a disastrous group, which has been a rec volleyball team that I played on in the past. So with the first group, and with kind of both of these groups, I'll try and relate them back to the Forsyth article as best as I can. So with the first group, the working group, so I work with a group of individuals on a young adult initiative. So we work with the population between ages 18 to 24. And it's been something that I worked with this group before, and then I took a little bit of a break, and I've come back to working with them now. And when I read the article by Forsyth, one of the things that stood out to me was the very first part, just forming a group. That it doesn't happen automatically overnight, but it is something that when you get to know other people in your group and you get to kind of learn their skill sets, you see kind of how it can be a very kind of interdependent working group. So for me, this is kind of one of the biggest things in terms of why we're successful, is that we've become very aware and very honest with each other about where we're good at things and maybe where we're not as good at things. And the point about storming was really interesting because I hadn't really kind of thought about conflict that much in terms of my working group, but there are some, absolutely. And I think that one of the things that helps is, one, it's working, where it works, so we have to be professional, and we're very mindful about that. The second is that just the atmosphere that we work in addiction and mental health and counseling, so even the language that we use, I find that we're very respectful in that sense, because we're so used to working with clients and being empathetic, and that's kind of the perspective that we come from. But even just in terms of overcoming conflict, we are very aware that we need to be able to move on from things, come to a solution quickly, overcome the problem to get to the goal. Otherwise, we just don't have the time. So I think that kind of, even being in the work atmosphere, does shift it a little bit for us, that we have to kind of work quickly to overcome those things. And just in terms of kind of the norming behaviors, I guess kind of that gets back to the work environment for us, is that it is a certain type of language, like using words like healthy, mindful, respectful, confidential. All those types of things are things that constantly come up, with our clients, and we bring them up with each other as well. And when it comes to performing, I find that now we've gotten kind of to be more integrated with mental health. So we've been very addiction-based, and now we're integrating with mental health. So our scope is becoming bigger. And in doing that, we're now starting to work with other mental health workers as well, social workers, that kind of thing. And in doing that, we're really collaborating a lot more. So we're being able to not only get to know each other, that's kind of the small group that we've had, but extend to other people as well and allow kind of them to give them our feedback. And it's very rare that we ever make a decision or move forward with something without, looking for feedback from somebody else. For an example, right now I'm actually like miles away in the world, I know that my coworkers have not made any major decisions without me. It's just kind of something that we wait till we're together to really collaborate and then move forward with something, because we're all working together, and it's really important that we're all on the same page. We've recently come under new management, and we've been kind of very clear that in terms of our little group that we have, we want certain things to stay the same and certain things that we're open to changing, and we know why those reasons are, and those kind of relate to our goals. So I found that group has really become a successful working group. And again, I think kind of one of the big things for me is just learning other people's skill sets and learning kind of where we can, really collaborate on things and come together in kind of the big picture. A team that I kind of deem a little bit more unsuccessful, disastrous, and I didn't kind of know where this might fit in terms of the team or a group, but I guess in a way it could be both. But I played competitive volleyball, and now I've played rec volleyball, and they're very different. Was playing from a rec volleyball team. To me, it fit more along the lines of a group. I played competitive volleyball where it's, you know your position, you know where you're going, and everyone has their roles and responsibilities. For me, the rec volleyball was a whole new experience. And when it came to the Forsyth article, I found everything was probably lacking. The forming part, we didn't know each other at all before. My friend and I signed up, and I've played competitively, and she is not at all. She's rarely ever played, but wanted to have a good time. We met a lot of people, but it wasn't, we didn't spend any time with anybody really outside of the volleyball court. And even other than the games that we met for, we didn't know anybody. So there was really no forming, or it was very slow. And unfortunately, the season is really short, so it takes a long time to be able to learn people's skills and people's, where they lack. By the end of the season, I was seeing some of that, and I'm sure other people were as well. But it was very, very hard during, the initial onset where you're trying to do, it's recreational, but, you still want to do okay. It was really hard. And in terms of the storming, when there was conflict, nothing happened with the conflict. Nobody said anything, so I think people took a lot of that home, or took a lot of that kind of, just underneath and didn't really say anything. There was really no overcoming any conflict in that way, but it didn't mean that it wasn't there, because it was there. It's just no one said anything. With norming, in terms of kind of some of those informal rules, I would say that there was some, just because the rec atmosphere and you see other teams, how other teams are behaving and acting with each other, it kind of sets a little bit of a guideline for your own team. For me, I found that, we were very respectful of each other and tried to cheer each other on, but there was kind of some kind of little irritation probably underneath for some people, and it didn't feel overly comfortable, and you kind of knew that if you said anything that maybe it wasn't going along with the rest of the rec volleyball teams that were acting really, positive, because there was a lot of teams that were very positive, and we tried to be too. I don't think it was like completely, a complete fail or disaster, but it was a little uncomfortable. And when it came to performing, because we never met outside, because we didn't really know each other, it was really hard to collaborate. So I think that, even for myself, I would say I'm probably a pretty competitive person. And I saw kind of strengths and weaknesses of people, but I didn't feel overly comfortable speaking up in a rec environment. For me, for example, I felt like, we had a guy that was like 6'5", and I'm, 5'2 and a half. So I kind of felt like, we could probably balance each other out if I probably didn't play front row, but I didn't feel very comfortable in the rec environment to say some of those things. Where I felt like I know that I'm probably not going to ever jump as high or even just be as high, because he's quite a bit taller than me. So I felt that because it's a rec environment, you kind of follow some of those norms, and perhaps in that way it actually kind of inhibited some of the positive things that could have happened. I've seen kind of some rec teams do really well when they spend a lot of time together, and I think part of that just goes back to the forming of the group. It doesn't mean that you have to be best friends, but it does mean that you can actually learn kind of where those skills are and where those weaknesses are, and be able to kind of piece them together. Because for me, going back to my really successful team at work, it's about knowing, like when I get a client and I have no idea what's happening, I know that I have someone so far on the other end of the spectrum that I can go talk to and collaborate on. And that when we're running a group together, that those dynamics coming together really work well, because you can balance each other out, and you can know when one person is uncomfortable and one person, is really comfortable. And that's why I kind of think it's nice where you have a team that's made up of a lot of different people. So yeah, I think for me, the forming piece is really essential, and the being able to just collaborate has been a key kind of to success for the teams that I've had as well. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing all of your videos.